Hello, Internet. It's been a while since I've actually made a video, and there wasn't a review this week, or at least last week. Technically, the weeks, they're weird. Point being, there wasn't a review on Saturday because I went to the theater, they weren't playing the film I was expecting to see, and it wasn't playing anywhere else because it was on a stupid limited release, and so I was more or less up a creek without anything to review that weekend, and so there was no video. But given that I don't want the channel to appear like it's dead or think, oh, Romney's quitting, or oh, he's been working the full-time job so he has nothing to do, I decided to basically make this video more or less as proof of life. Why am I not showing my face? Well, because I'm doing something a little bit different here. You see, I was at Smith's today, and I noticed that Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was now available in a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, and, well, being not a diehard Star Wars fan, but at least a fan of the movies, I decided to go and pick it up because it had a bunch of interesting special features, and I figured if I was going to do a full in-depth analysis of it, especially to kind of articulate one of my main complaints of The Force Awakens, I figured I needed a copy of the film to actually get the footage legally, so that way I can make my point. And so, expect a review of this DVD Blu-ray combo pack set in the near future. However, at the Smiths I was at, they also had a few other things available to purchase, some of which was actually discounted. I mean, you know the shopping carts, they have all those yellow tags and stuff. I mean, sometimes it's discounted food, which I don't trust for obvious reasons. And naturally, you find some very interesting items, like as seen on TV items that nobody buys, but is actually being sold at a decent price that it probably should have been sold at instead of 3 payments of $8.99. Stupid company. But you also find items that they're just having a hard time selling, or they're no longer really relevant because the hype has died down. Now, I figured that many of you remember MicroMachines. Yes, those tiny little vehicles and cars that had the very fast-talking advertising guy, came with all those various fancy playsets. They were really big in the 90s, and, well, in the lead-up to the release of The Force Awakens, and for sometimes after, they had these little blind bag micro-machine bags that had one of the various ships that the Star Wars franchise is known for. And in this clearance shopping cart, they had them marked down to only 89 cents. So, naturally, I bought all the ones that were in the cart. And given that I also want to celebrate the release of The Force Awakens on Blu-ray, I decided to do a little interesting challenge. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to guess what ship is in each of these bags solely by feel, and then we'll see if I'm actually right or not. So, let's get started. Let's just move these out of the way. I'll grab one at random here. We'll start with this one, since it fell down in frame. Alright, so I'm going to basically feel and see if I can guess what ship it is. It's got a very flat feel to it, so it's definitely a ship that's long. Definitely feel a little bit of a raised bump here. Something that's also kind of skinny this way. I see there's a bit of a groove along this side on the little plastic thing that holds the micro machine in. So guessing by the shape that it seems to be forming a bit of a Y here, but it's not quite blocky on the parts that would be the extensions of the Y. My guess is that this is probably one of the Naboo fighters. So there's the bet on that. This one I'm guessing is a Naboo fighter. This one here, it's got a very square shape that I'm feeling here. Very blocky. Like, immediately you can tell it's not the shape that you're expecting. And so, my guess, just based on the way the ships are shaped, I'm leaning that this is either an X-Wing, but then again, it's not quite long. You can see it kind of collapses like this, so I'm leaning more towards that this may actually be a TIE fighter, not really an X-Wing. So, my bet is that this one here is a TIE fighter. Now, this one here, let's see. Also kind of blocky, but it's got a few other extensions here. Not feeling a long length-like thing like this one, which I'm guessing is the Naboo fighter, so let's see. It's got the same raised little bit here. It's got kind of a curve down this way. Let's see. I think this might also be another Naboo fighter, come to think of it. It's got kind of the same groove that kind of runs up here, except it kind of stops short here. So, kind of thinking here. It's either a Naboo fighter or possibly a Y-Wing. I'm leaning more towards Naboo fighter, so I'm going to put in the pile that I think that it's the Naboo fighter. Now this one, let's see. This one's also got some protrusions here. I feel kind of a groove here that's got like a circular thing that holds something in place. Feeling a very blocky raised texture here. So let's see. It's got kind of a raised point. I'm feeling like 2 extension raised here. So I think this one's actually the Y-Wing, I think. I'm not that familiar with Star Wars ships, so the one that serves as the bomber. I can't remember which one that was in Star Wars Battlefront, but I think this one is the Y-Wing, the one that serves as a bomber. I'm guessing it's called a Y-Wing because it does kind of form a Y, so this one I'm guessing is the Y-Wing bomber. And for the last bag here, let's see. Got kind of a curve here. Bit of a protrusion here, but doesn't have anything extending outward, so my guess is that this is also a Naboo fighter. Alright, place your bets. How likely did I guess these right? Place your bets right now.
Now's the time to place your bets to see if I got any of them right. I wanted to use a different song, but YouTube kinda sucks right now.
Okay, we're gonna start with the one that I have a good feeling that I guessed correctly here. This is the one that's got the very blocky thing, very squarish, and I've got a really strong feeling that this is a TIE fighter. So let me go ahead and open it up and see if I'm right. Yep, it's the First Order TIE fighter. So I was right on that one. The blocky texture was the dead giveaway. So this one was the TIE fighter, and specifically one of the new TIE fighters from The Force Awakens used by the First Order. Notice the black coloring here, the black, the gray. Definitely the newer models that they were using instead of the older models that had the only gray black texture. It's almost kind of like a reverse of the colors here. So that's 1 for 1 so far. Now this one was also the other odd one out that I got a pretty good feeling is probably the Y-Wing bomber. So moment of truth, folks. I was way off. I did not even think of that. It's not even a ship. It's actually Luke's speeder. Or I guess it's hard to tell if it's Luke or if it's a Jedi because it's got like the weird ponytail painted here. I can't really zoom in without having to adjust focus. Actually, let me go ahead and try that. One moment, please. All right, I've got a bit of a closer look at the micro machine here. You can see it's basically a speeder. Got the little person driving it, and they're on the right side, which means they'd be driving on the left, so must be British. And I am hesitant to say that this is Luke, because if you look at the paint here, let's see if I can actually get it in focus. Let's see. Yeah, if you look at kind of the paint here, they have the rat tail ponytail kind of trailing off on the little head here, so maybe some people thought it was Luke, others probably thought it was just supposed to be a typical Padawan or a typical Star Wars non-important character. But I was way off on this one. I wasn't even close, as last time I checked, a speeder's not actually a ship. It's basically the Star Wars equivalent of a hot rod, a Star Wars equivalent of a car. So, yeah, so far I'm only 1 for 2. Alright, now to see if the most likely guesses are even correct in this case. This is the pile where I'm assuming we have a bunch of the Naboo fighters, so, moment of truth. Ah, wow, I am way off. Yeah, it's the X-Wing. Does it fold out? Nope. It stays in its normal position, and this is a classic-looking X-Wing. Let me go ahead and zoom in here, just to kind of give you the full look. This is the classic look of the X-Wing from the original trilogy. Notice the very old-school paint job, because a lot of the ships in The Force Awakens had a much darker color scheme, whereas this one's a lot more brighter and vibrant. But yeah, I was way off. I'm guessing the TIE Fighter was the easiest one because it has a more distinct shape. So I'm kind of worried whether or not I got the other 2 ships right. So yeah, let's see if I was even remotely close with any of the other ships here. Let's see. Alright, number 2. Did I at least guess that they were all the same ship? Keep your fingers crossed, people. Moment of truth. Well, it's the same type of ship. This one is a Resistance-style X-Wing fighter. I apologize for my hand blocking the light here. It's a little bit tricky given that this is a bit of a darker color. But yeah, compared to this one here that's in the color scheme from the original trilogy, this is the kind of X-Wing that we see Poe Dameron flying during the Battle on Starkiller Base. It has the darker color scheme. I'm guessing Abrams has a thing for making all of his ships darker. At least not as bad as Zack Snyder. But anyway, this one looks like it's the resistance model of the X-Wing that probably had some boosted up specs or something. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've read Before the Awakening, so I don't even know the specifics. But yeah, here's the two X-Wings side by side. So although I'm wrong in the Naboo fighters, I at least guessed that these were both the same class of ship. Alright. The final ship. Is it another X-Wing? Is it actually a Naboo fighter? Was I basing the guess on just what was on the package here? Let's find out. Well, not even close. I mean, I at least guessed in the sense that at least I think this one is from the Phantom Menace, but I could be wrong because I don't actually... Whoops. It tried to fly for a second, but looking at this, it doesn't look like a ship I actually recognize per se. I'm not exactly sure if this was from the prequels or The Force Awakens or even the original trilogy. It's got a bit of a newer design to it, so I'm not exactly sure what it's from. It kind of reminds me of Darth Maul's ship from The Phantom Menace, but again, I could be wrong. Looks kind of like the new model of Star Destroyer. But again, it's been a while since I've seen The Force Awakens. I haven't even taken the shrink wrap off of the Blu-ray that I would actually be able to confirm for certain. But this is definitely not a Naboo fighter, so I'm pretty much 1 for 5. And I only get partial credit for 2 of them being the same ship. So here I'm guessing is some sort of like Star Destroyer. Not so much Star Destroyer. I mean, I've got a pretty good feeling that I think this is Darth Maul's ship. But again, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've seen both the prequels and The Force Awakens, and I've seen a lot of movies since then, so yeah. This is the last Micro Machine, not even close, not even the same as the X-Wings, is a completely different fighter. Actually, well, I don't think this is a fighter, I think this is like a larger vessel here, that I'm guessing here, because you probably would have like the command bridge in where you're seeing the red markings here, where the pilot or the crew would sit. Let me know in the comments below. Is this Darth Maul's ship, or is this a completely different ship entirely? I very much am curious, because I want to see if I at least know my ships. No pun intended. So, yeah. Okay, so that was my attempt at guessing what's in the blind bag Micro Machine bags. So far, I've only got one guess right with the TIE Fighter. So we've got a TIE Fighter, we've got a Speeder, 2 X-Wings, and what I'm guessing is Darth Maul's ship, but again, I could be wrong. So, yeah, let me know what you thought of this video. Should I do more videos like this in the future? Are there any other blind bag items I should do this with? Because I know there's like blind bag Zelda stuff, blind bag Mario stuff, blind bag Pokemon stuff, My Little Pony stuff. If you think I should continue making videos like these are actually pretty fun to do, just to see if I can guess, let me know in the comments below. And am I right in guessing that this is Darth Maul's ship? Also let me know, because I am very curious to see if I'm guessing right, but hey, I got 5 Micro Machines for a total of $5, which is more or less a steal considering how these toys are often sold. Now I just need a Micro Machine playset to actually play with. But hey, at least I can now do this. Lock S foils to attack position. Oh no, he overtook me.